Tonight, right after performing in Las Vegas, voice still hoarse with one more show still left tomorrow, RM went live on Weverse for over an hour, and he didn't hold back. He talked about the chaos behind making ARIRANG, the fights, the lack of a captain, why the title track almost wasn't the title track, why he thinks the album is a miracle, and what he's genuinely scared about for BTS's future. This is the full breakdown of everything RM said. The most honest BTS has been about an album, maybe ever.
Let's start with why this live even happened, because RM literally said, "The reason I turned on my live stream is because I felt that if I didn't turn it on today, I wouldn't have a reason to turn it on for a long time." He had just ridden a roller coaster with Jungkook. That's why the thumbnail had that photo. And he's about to fly back to Korea after the Las Vegas stop of the ARIRANG World Tour. Now for context. ARIRANG, the album, dropped on March 20, 2026. It's BTS's 10th studio album and their first full group album in nearly 6 years, since B in 2020. Every member completed their mandatory South Korean military service between December 2022 and June 2025. That's a long wait, a very long wait. The ARIRANG World Tour kicked off April 9th, 2026 in Goyang, South Korea, and by the time of this live, they'd already performed in Seoul, Tokyo, Tampa, El Paso, Mexico City, Stanford, and Las Vegas. RM said performing across all those cities, seeing those crowds, made him reflect deeply. He said the tour specifically triggered something for him. During encore segments, they play old BTS songs randomly, like karaoke, and during the Las Vegas show, Attack on Bangtan came on. That song is from around 2013. He said it's been roughly 12 to 13 years since that era. Seeing how far they'd come made him want to leave a record of his thoughts before time swept it away.
Here's where it gets fascinating. RM gave us a real behind-the-scenes look at the creation of ARIRANG, and it started way before the song camp in LA. It started with a dinner. About a year before the group all came together, RM said the members' mental state was not good. He was a private first class in the military at the time, crying and urging the members to hold the team together. They gathered at Jimin's house and made a decision together. As soon as they came out of the military, they would make an album immediately to repay those who had been waiting. From there, a pre-session took place around April or May, before any of the members' discharge dinners, where producers worked without the group present. This pre-session produced early versions of what became Body to Body, Like Animals, and Please. After their individual discharge dinners, Jungkook and J-Hope had theirs first and had already been doing solo performances and variety shows. The group gathered at a pension to do a pre-listening session of about 15 songs, and that's when things started getting complicated. RM said, "Everyone had different opinions. Some members liked certain tracks while others disliked others." Because every member had released solo albums while in the military, and if you look at RM's experimental art rap direction versus Jungkook's pop and R&B versus J-Hope's hype rap, they are genuinely very different artists. Bridging all of that into one BTS album, extremely difficult. Then came Conway Studio in Los Angeles, a legendary recording studio with multiple rooms. RM said he went 6 days a week, every single day. Each day, different combinations of members would work in different rooms, alongside professional producers, instrument players, and topliners. He worked with producers including Flume, JPEG Mafia, who RM calls JPAC Mafia, and even an artist named 070 Shake, who came in for 2 days. He said the first week was rough. Members weren't comfortable with English and weren't used to this kind of working style, but after about a week, they found their rhythm. This went on for 2 months. And here is the central tension RM revealed, the thing that defined this entire album. There was no captain. He said it like this: they had to make an album for 7 very different artists, with 7 different fan bases, 7 different musical visions, and on top of that, management opinions, industry expectations, and a global audience that all wanted something different. Some people wanted a Dynamite, some wanted something like On, some wanted another Spring Day, and no one could bridge the gap. RM described a problem unique to where BTS are as a group now. One of the things I consider both a strength and a weakness is that all the members are very cautious. Because we don't want to break this massive and intricate relationship with one another, everyone is extremely careful. If one person said they didn't like a track, everyone backed off. even if 5 out of 7 were for it. No one wanted to be the person who forced their vision on the group. That's beautiful, but it also meant they could never land on a strong, singular direction. RM said he had a hunch before they even started that the entire year, making the album, releasing it, touring, would begin and end with how they made decisions. And he was right. He called the final product a miracle. I consider it a miracle that this album was released, whether it was disappointing, whether it was a flop, or whether people didn't like it. The fact that we came back here together, released the album as promised, and proceeded with performances and tours again, I truly think it is a miracle. He was emotional but clear. No one dropped out, no one got sick, no one missed out. Given how complicated the process was, he even said making a BTS comeback right now is the most difficult project in the world. The miracle is that it exists at all.
RM went through nearly every song on the album. Let's go through them. Body to Body, track 1. The original version of this song was a very sexual track, literally called Body on Body. RM said it started as a song about exactly what you're imagining, but they decided they didn't want to release something sexual just for the sake of it. So they changed it, taking inspiration from the 1988 Seoul Olympics song Hand in Hand by Koreana and turned it into Body to Body, about physical and emotional unity. Then came the biggest decision on this track, whether to include ARIRANG, the traditional Korean folk song. Some people argued it was forced nationalism. RM said that's actually a valid criticism. But then he pointed to the live performance. Thousands of international fans singing a Korean folk song in perfect unison, and said that cannot be staged. That moment is real. He described watching J-Hope dance energetically next to him while the ARIRANG section played, and genuinely thought, this is a big problem. This is too good. His conclusion? The song needed to be in the album. It represents who they are. 7 young Korean men, country bumpkins from Korea, who somehow ended up here. Hooligan, track 2. This one came out of Jungkook and J-Hope's room, RM said. Jungkook randomly brought the keyword hooligan, no one knows why, and wrote the lyrical seed. From there, local songwriters in LA helped flesh it out. A producer named Elwin Cho, someone who worked extensively with Rosalia, collaborated with them for over 10 days. When the song first appeared, Bang Si-hyuk, BTS's producer/founder of HYBE, loved it immediately. It became the standard, the reference track that everything else in the final stretch of the song camp was trying to beat or complement. RM said it's alternative hip-hop, harder and more energetic than what they'd been making, and it became a key anchor for the album's direction. As for the viral challenge moment, yes, they planned a challenge with choreography. It didn't happen the way they intended. Instead, a fan-made hip thrust version took over organically. RM's reaction? It made me realize this really isn't something you can aim for just by trying. Aliens, track 3, also from Jungkook and J-Hope's room, produced by Mike Will Made It. Yes, the legendary Atlanta producer. RM said the song was originally titled Angeles, but it felt too hollow, too abstract. He suggested changing it to Aliens, same sonic feel, and framing it as, "We are aliens from Korea, hi." The lyrics have an intentionally rustic, unpolished feel. RM said that was on purpose. He could have written more poetic, sophisticated lines about Korean pride, but he wanted to preserve the track's raw energy. It creates a funny reversal, foreign ARMY members singing along to BTS calling themselves outsiders. He said it took a very long time to balance Korean and English in the lyrics because this song is fundamentally about being Korean, and the nuances had to land correctly. FYA, track 4, RM's passion project. He wanted to work with Flume and JPEG Mafia at all costs. He told the company this directly. In the LA sessions, he found a Flume beat that started with a motorcycle revving sound, and that do-do-do hooked him immediately. The phrase, "that's fire," was practically the motto of the song camp. Everyone said it constantly, almost as a greeting. RM said it was like the Korean habit of saying, "have you eaten?" reflexive. So when he heard that beat, he thought, why not just make a song literally called Fire? He pushed JPEG Mafia to take the beat and mess it up, make it chaotic, and that became FYA. RM said he imagined a concert moment where there are no lyrics to remember, everyone just jumps and goes crazy. He wanted pure energy, a brain moment, and FYA became that. 2.0, track 5. The working title of the entire album project was BTS 2.0, so this song carries that weight. RM said it came out of Jungkook, J-Hope, and V's room, produced by Mike Will Made It. He said from the first time he heard it, he knew it had to be on the album, even though the vocalists, particularly Jimin, struggled enormously with it. The melody, written by a songwriter named Charles, was designed for someone with a deep understanding of black music.
The notes are extremely high, the nuance is very difficult, and it was the hardest song for the Korean vocalist to record. Suggestions came in right until the setlist was finalized to remove it from the show. RM pushed back every time. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And he was right. He said without 2.0, the choreography wouldn't work. The album needs it. And after performing it, the members themselves said, we needed that song. RM also admitted he worked so hard on the 2.0 choreography, coming an hour early to every dance lesson and staying 30 minutes after, because he refused to let Jungkook, Jimin, J-Hope, and V down. No 29, track 6. This is the interlude, the only track RM doesn't have writing credits on. He explained its origin. While working on his Seoul album, he met officials at Korea's Cultural Heritage Administration and the current director of the National Museum and learned they were going to re-ring the emule bell, the Songduk bell of Hwangryongsa, for inspection after 15 to 20 years, the famous bell from Gyeongju. He was invited to come and play it, but his schedule didn't work out, so instead, the bell's sound became part of the album. The track opens with a high-frequency section featuring the bell's resonance, then transitions into an emotional pop section. RM said it's one of his biggest regrets of the album cycle that he couldn't physically hear it in person. He said he hopes to play it at a concert one day. Swim, track 7, title track. The big one. RM was very honest here. No song better than Swim came out. They never intended to make Swim the title track. They spent the entire last month of sessions trying to create something that would surpass Hooligan in energy and impact. It didn't happen. Swim won by default, but it also won on merit, particularly when it came to radio viability. RM described Swim as the feeling of being in the military, day by day, breath by breath, just swimming through. He said he's actually not a good swimmer. It's about floating through life when you don't know where you're going. It became a song for BTS in their 30s, more mature, more reflective. He said it's a song he'll carry for the rest of his life. He described it as a love song that is also a story about life, with the moon and the sea and whoever's watching. It could be a lover, a fan, himself, or life itself. He admitted he was disappointed that it didn't receive more love, but he's grateful that other tracks like Body to Body, Hooligan, 2.0, and Normal all got their own moments of traction. He genuinely loves that in 2026, multiple songs from an idol album can all chart and trend simultaneously.
Merry Go Round, track 8. This one has a very specific origin. RM was in the song camp when someone named Sam mentioned they knew Tame Impala's Kevin Parker and could potentially collaborate. RM said he's a huge Tame Impala fan. It was always a dream. The beat he heard may have been Parker's or a co-production with Sam. He loved it, but was told it cost too much. So he went to another room and found a songwriter named Alday, the same person who worked on Miley Cyrus's Flowers, and asked him to write a melody on a different beat with the theme of a merry-go-round. The concept? Just like the military, just like idol life, you're on a carousel you can never get off. Where Swim talks about hope, merry-go-round talks about boredom and despair. An hour later, Alday had finished the melody and lyrics. RM said he was so happy he played it for all the members and said this is his spring day for this album. I wish that I could tell you that it's over. I wish that I could walk away from pain. My life is like a broken roller, but maybe I'm the only one to blame. Normal, track 9. The most energetic sounding track on the album and actually one of the saddest in meaning. RM wrote it thinking about what normal means for BTS. One day people love them, the next day people tell them to disappear. Fame is a carousel too. He wrote it with the image of a flag being raised to the sky and then lowered, that constant cycle of being put up and torn down. The lyrics? Heavy is the head when you chasten true. Will you call me red? Will you call me blue? Two sides of a coin, neither completely true, because people are three-dimensional and can't be reduced. RM said there were countless sleepless nights after concerts where he couldn't stop his mind from racing. He just wanted a minute to me off. Not to destroy his life, just for people to forget about him for one moment. He originally wrote the lyrics entirely in Korean, then switched to English for radio accessibility. He mentioned there is a recorded Korean version. Whether it gets released, he doesn't know. Like Animals, track 10. Originally a very sexual song from the pre-session, RM described the original lyrics as being in the sadism-masochism territory, two people acting like animals with each other. They decided the timing wasn't right for BTS to release something that explicit, so they reworked it toward a song about primal instincts more broadly. Producer Artemis helped heavily with this one, bringing a psychedelic direction BTS had never tried before. RM said they consciously wanted to push into new sonic territory. Then he mentioned watching Attack on Bangtan at the concert that night and thinking how exciting and romantic that old sound was. The tension between their past and their present was clearly on his mind.
They Don't Know About Us, track 11. Jimin's track, and RM said Jimin grew enormously through making it. The origin. RM and Jimin were working together on a song called Weak, built around the phrase, "You make me weak." RM said that phrase is what he genuinely feels about ARMY. They make him weak, in both the best and worst ways. He wants to be honest with them, but there are things he can't say. He wants to look cool. He wants to be vulnerable. He's in a constant contradiction. Jimin pushed RM. "Why do you say you make me weak? Why?" And RM explained, "Because they don't know who we really are. No one can know us from the outside." That conversation became the seed of this track. Jimin found it fascinating, the idea that people make him feel weak precisely because they don't truly know him. The next day they separated, and Jimin built on it, creating a track that started as a love letter to ARMY and evolved into something more aggressive, directed outward and everyone who thinks they understand BTS but doesn't. Please, track 13. RM called this song a direct, blunt declaration to ARMY. He said he thought about writing it in a complicated, literary style, but chose to just beg, straight up. "When the world separates us, I'll come to you. Even hell, I'm down. If I'm with you, I'm down. Just be with me. Don't leave me. Stay with me. Wait for me. I'll wait too." He said the back-and-forth harmonies on this track reminded him of the beautiful harmony style of BTS's classic B-sides. That lineage was intentional. Into the Sun, track 14, Closer. RM described this as the moment when the album's true power is revealed, not on record, but live. 7 men walking towards a sunset. 50,000 to 60,000 people holding army bombs. The light enveloping the crowd. Faces visible. Slogans. Togetherness. He said V's voice on this track is incredibly beautiful. He wrote his own part entirely in Korean, going back to his literary roots, after his solo project RPWP stripped a lot of that away. He wanted to return to painting with words. He quoted his own verse. "In the time of dogs and wolves, in that time when dogs and wolves are indistinguishable, the faces of beasts are shattered and humans flee. Yet I want to go to that house where you are waiting. There, grass rises and stars fall." He said this song proves sophistication and their original identity can coexist. He credited V, the producers, and the songwriting team heavily. He called it the perfect album closer, nothing to criticize. After the song rundowns, RM got genuinely philosophical, and this is the part that stuck with me most. He talked about how the times have changed in a way that scares him. RM started music through literature, lyrics, and words. He believes in the power of lyrics. He was saved by an artist's words and melody, and it made him love life. But he feels like people no longer listen to lyrics. He said, "We have entered an era where even if we capture a story, it doesn't get conveyed." He was even honest about himself, admitting that even he, in the military, discovered reels for the first time and would just scroll through fast-tempo music, hooked by sounds, not by words. He catches himself following the algorithm. He wonders if he's becoming what he used to resist. He said he can feel the space for artists like him, lyric-driven, story-driven artists, narrowing. People want entertainment to be entertainment. They don't want to think. And while he understands that, he mourns it. But rather than being bitter, he made a point. Rather than blaming the times like some old-fashioned person, I think we should acknowledge the times. Then, when we are conveying a story, how can we do it more sophisticatedly? To what extent can we ride and follow the flow of the times? He said he genuinely believes the new generation of K-pop groups are doing a great job representing this era. He didn't say it with resentment. He said it like a person who is genuinely grappling with where his own identity fits in an evolving landscape. His hope for BTS going forward, even if they stop pouring out emotions through lyrics in the traditional way, remain a team that tells stories, personal ones, universal ones, about love, about anything. That romance, that commitment to meaning, he wants BTS to protect that. RM ended the live by talking about concerts in a way that felt almost spiritual. He said that in certain songs, there's an energy that only the tens of thousands of people in that room, including the 7 of them, can feel at that exact moment, singing the same lyrics, jumping together, waving hands together. He said that kind of experience is going to become increasingly rare and expensive, a luxury, as screens and phones and algorithms eat more and more of our attention. Even he checks his phone until he falls asleep and checks it again when he wakes up. He acknowledged the irony. But he said, At a concert, they spend so much time genuinely looking into each other's eyes. That's what he loves about concerts and movie theaters, spaces where you're forced to be present. He ended simply, "It just comes down to one thing. It's just love." Sincerely, even though I'm scared to turn on this live stream to speak to you all right now, I want to say, you make me weak. 3.7 million people watched him speak for over an hour, hoarse, exhausted, one show left on this leg of the tour. He said he turned it on because he was scared that if he didn't do it now, he wouldn't do it for a long time. And he wanted to leave a record of the memories, the choices, the songs, the meaning, before time made him forget. That's RM. That's BTS. And honestly, I'm glad he turned it on.
If you've been sleeping on ARIRANG, go listen again, this time with this context in your ears. Body to Bodied, Hooligan, 2.0, Swim, Into the Sun. These aren't just tracks. They are the product of 7 people who spent years apart, came back together with completely different artistic identities, and chose, without a captain, without a clear direction, to make something anyway. RM called it a miracle. I think he's right. Drop a comment. Which song hits different after hearing all of this? And if you're going to any of the remaining ARIRANG World Tour shows, let me know below.